I want to sense you're bored by routines that everyone swears will change your life. The hard part isn't finding advice. It's finding advice that actually works when your world falls apart. Marcus Aurelius commanded armies. Seneca advised emperors. Epictetus lived in chains. They didn't theorize about hardship. They endured it. What made them unshakable wasn't luck or privilege. It was something you can build starting now. These aren't the recycled principles you've heard before. This is what separates people who survive storms from people who drown in them. First principle. Zeno of Citium lost everything in a shipwreck. His cargo, his wealth, his entire merchant life vanished beneath the waves. Most would see this as the end. He saw it as clarity. Standing in Athens with nothing, he walked into a bookshop and discovered philosophy. That shipwreck became the foundation of Stoicism itself. What destroys your old life often builds your better one. When circumstances strip away what you thought defined you, you discover what actually does. Your job isn't your identity. Your possessions aren't your worth. Your status isn't your strength. Beneath all that sits something indestructible, your capacity to choose your response. You cannot control the storm. You absolutely control whether you panic or adapt. Every external thing can be taken. Your internal response belongs only to you. Second principle. The Stoics practiced something radical. They imagined the worst before it happened, not to torture themselves, but to prepare. Seneca would regularly sleep on hard floors and eat simple food, reminding himself that poverty wasn't something to fear. He wanted to know he could handle it before fate tested him.
His practice has a name: Premeditatio Malorum, premeditation of adversity. Think through what could go wrong. Not obsessively, but clearly. Imagine losing your job, your health, your closest relationship. Then ask, what would I do? How would I adapt? This removes the shock from hardship. When difficulty arrives, you've already met it in your mind. You've already survived it once. That makes the second time manageable. Third principle. Most people misunderstand Stoicism. They think it means suppressing emotion, becoming cold, feeling nothing. That's not Stoicism. That's detachment. The Stoics felt deeply. They loved. They grieved. They celebrated. What they refused to do was let emotions make their decisions. Epictetus taught his students to observe their emotions the way you'd observe weather. A storm passes through. You don't become the storm. You acknowledge it, you take shelter if needed, but you don't let it determine your direction. Anger, fear, desire. These are information, not instruction. Feel them fully, then ask, what's the rational response here? What aligns with my values? What serves my long-term purpose? You don't ignore your feelings, you use them as data while your reason makes the call. Fourth principle. You become what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally wish for or temporarily try. What you practice daily becomes your character. Small, consistent actions compound into unshakable habits. Want to build emotional resilience? Start with one small difficulty each day. Take a cold shower. Skip a meal you were craving. Have a difficult conversation instead of avoiding it. Each small voluntary discomfort trains your mind that difficulty is survivable. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome, but woke before dawn to practice philosophy. Not because he needed motivation, but because discipline creates freedom. When you control your habits, you control your life. When your habits control you, you're just reacting. Fifth principle. Living according to nature. Most people hear this and think it means rejecting technology or modern life. That's not it. Living according to nature means living according to reason. It means recognizing you're a rational being in an interconnected world. Your nature is to think, to choose, to contribute. When you act against this, when you chase pleasure without purpose or avoid difficulty without reason, you create internal conflict. That conflict is suffering. Align your actions with your rational nature and watch that suffering dissolve. Sixth principle. Hierocles taught the circles of concern. Imagine concentric circles with you at the center. The next circle contains your family, then friends, then community, then humanity. The goal isn't to care equally for everyone. That's impossible. The goal is to gradually draw those outer circles inward. This isn't selflessness. This is recognizing that your well-being connects to others' well-being. When you strengthen your community, you strengthen yourself. When you help someone grow, you grow. The isolated person is vulnerable. The connected person has resilience through relationship. Seventh principle, connection requires honesty, not brutal honesty that wounds, rational honesty that clarifies. When someone asks your opinion, give it. When you disagree, say so respectfully. When you're wrong, admit it immediately. The Stoics were blunt about this. Most people prefer comfortable lies to uncomfortable truths. They surround themselves with people who tell them what they want to hear. This creates fragility. You need people who will challenge your thinking, who will point out your blind spots, who care enough to risk your temporary discomfort for your long-term growth. Find those people. Be that person for others. Eighth principle, suffering isn't the problem. Suffering is inevitable. The problem is suffering without purpose. When hardship has meaning, when it builds something, when it reveals your strength, it transforms from pure pain into growth. Viktor Frankl wasn't a Stoic, but he proved their principle. In concentration camps, those who found meaning survived. Those who lost meaning perished, even with healthy bodies. Your mind determines your endurance more than your circumstances. Give your hardship meaning. Let it teach you. Let it strengthen you. Let it show you what matters and what doesn't. Every difficulty is either destroying you or forging you. You decide which, through the meaning you assign it. Ninth principle, accept what is, completely. Not because you approve, but because denial changes nothing. The Stoics called this amor fati, love of fate. Not passive acceptance, but active embrace. This happened. This is real. Now what? That now what is where your power lives. You cannot change the past. You cannot guarantee the future. You absolutely can choose your present response. That response shapes everything that follows. 10th principle, build your fortress daily. Seneca watched Rome burn. Marcus Aurelius faced plague and betrayal. Epictetus lived as a slave. None of them had easy lives. All of them had inner peace. Not because circumstances were kind, but because they built something circumstances couldn't touch. You can build the same thing. Not someday, not when life gets easier. Now, in this moment, with whatever you're facing, start with one principle. Practice it until it becomes natural. Then add another. The Stoics weren't born unshakable. They became unshakable through practice, through failure, through getting back up and trying again. Your mind is either your fortress or your prison. The Stoics give you the blueprint to build the fortress. The question isn't whether life will test you. It will. The question is whether you'll be ready when it does.